All right, welcome everybody to another episode of the Writer's Cut. This is episode 4, and I am hanging out with my buddy, fellow hardliner, the man himself. He's got one of the best projects currently out in crowdfunding. We will get deep into that a little later, but everybody, welcome Phil Diaz. What's going on, brother?
Thanks, man. Nothing. A big night. I got like 3 streams today. This is the second one. I just got off with Aaron Lepresti. Awesome show. And yeah, doing the grind, man. Grinding away. You know how it is. Campaigning for the new book. So that's where I'm
getting ready for my September grind. Stretching out the muscles. Got a couple months to go for the Ace 3, so we'll get deep into that.
Yeah.
For anybody who hasn't joined us before, I decided to start this stream a couple weeks ago. Just really wanted to focus on kind of the writing side a little bit. I don't claim to be any expert or anything, but I have written some books and some projects and stuff, and I think I can kind of shed light on people who want to begin that process, and also know a lot of great, talented guys that I can, get their ear and have them school you on the game. So just want to say hail to Metal Movies and Brewskis.
Oh, yeah. What's up, Matt? We just looked at your Wraith of God fan piece on Lepresti's show earlier. Sick.
Oh, yeah. You should check out his YouTube channel. He's got some great content. He does a lot of comic reviews, which sadly we don't get enough of. That's something I would like people to do more of. These books are out for you people, whether you like them or you don't. We could use the feedback. So shout out to guys like him and everybody else who's actually reviewing. You can talk about mainstream books another time. Give some shine to some of the guys grinding and trying to make a name for themselves. Like, people know what they're missing now and on great projects like Lost Pages, Ace. There's a lot of good stuff out there, and the more people we can get reviewing them and talking about them, the better. So thank you for joining us, brother.
I agree.
Yeah, anytime, man. Please like, share, let everybody know we're here hanging out for the next probably 40-45 minutes, just talking about the writing process, talking about some really awesome comics. And as you can see on my screen, I'm sharing. This is the 4-page origin story I did for Angelique. It was part of the Ace Volume 1. And to give a little background on this, Phil actually had a lot of influence on a lot of the stuff that I'm doing. I'm a big fan of his Lost Pages comics. I'm a fan of all his comics, but I think like Lost Pages really kind of speaks to me and what is kind of missing from comics right now. And, the idea of telling these short stories that we could introduce characters with and we can kind of get right to it, kind of helps flex the writing muscle a little more. You're kind of limited in what you can do. So it forces you to tighten your game. So when you do have more pages, even those pages become even tighter. You learn not to waste pages. And so this was a really fun process. Angelique was going to be the main antagonist for Volume 2. So I felt it was important to introduce her in a way, but not have her be forced into the main story. So I think this 4-page origin story kind of served that purpose. You kind of introduced to her and then got you excited for Volume 2. You got somebody else in the house. Omega Arts, what's going on?
What's up?
Yeah, thank you for joining us, man. Yeah, we're just here talking about some, short stories, some writing, all that kind of fun stuff. Please share and like, let everybody know we're live here hanging out, and we will get to Lost Pages 3 in a bit. We got the links in the description for anybody who hasn't backed it and wants to check it out. I'll probably pimp Bloodbone. I still got some ashcans left. That's also they're up on my Etsy store. The link's in the description for that too. So yeah, we're just hanging out here talking about some comics. And so go through this a little bit quick. Like I said, it's a 4-page short story, but I think it kind of set up everything I needed to do. By the time I opened up Ace Volume 2, I didn't feel the need to like shoehorn anything about her backstory. I felt like I could just introduce her as a character to the world.
Yeah.
And really just kind of go balls out. And I think it made the second book better, in my opinion. I've gone back and reread both kind of just to see how they flow and everything. And I think like this was like a good way to kind of set up everything, because you feel like you already know Angelique, even if you don't really know all her details. You know enough to know that she's dangerous and she's on a mission and she's badass. And it kind of sets up the story that way. And
Yeah, I
well,
totally agree with what you're saying about like short stories. That's how I started, and kind of like how I recommend creators that are going to trying to learn the skill of writing in comics. The pages are your canvas, and you have to use that space most efficiently.
yeah. And just gotta shout out How Comics, Alan Alonso, who did this short story. He penciled, inked, and colored it. He did tremendous job. Like, he set up this kind of little, kind of almost like a fairy tale kind of world. The way he kind of put this together,
Yeah,
off of my like initial idea. See the little girl there looking at the two moons. So it sets up like that you're on an alien planet already. Kind of one of those things where you kind of like you set up stuff without really having to go deep into it. If you're
yeah,
paying attention, you can kind of see. And then you see this stranger coming up the door. You see there's a knock, and this older elf kind of being opens the door, and then right there, the first page, boom. I love that bottom panel, like
yeah,
just right there. You kind of get it hits you hard. Like it's the thing about these. You don't want to waste the pages. You don't really want to just kind of like meander. Get right to it.
yeah.
Stranger shows up at the door, and then boom, violence begins.
Right. Since it's such a short page count, Alan did a great job of not pulling you into this panel too quick. So, like when you're reading this page, he could have made this a bigger moment on this page. He could have had the victim's head, cross the border and kind of stick out more. But I think that would have drawn the reader to look at it before they needed to, right? So
Yeah,
it's all about pacing and where you kind of force the reader's eye to lay. So having it this size of panel at the bottom here, it still has a lot of impact, but it doesn't distract you from the previous panels too quickly.
yeah, definitely. Then you see the little girl right here praying, and then you see, the stranger walking through the house. You see the lady right there. Then again, that bottom panel hits you.
Yeah,
She's there
great,
whistling, and then snap.
great use of the border, that panel border too. Jagged edge.
Yeah. I also love like this is super like violent, but it's not gory. You know,
Yeah. Hmm.
like he Alan just did a great job. You see her eyes kind of bulging there, like that tells so much. Like you don't really need dialogue or anything, just a little sound effect, and then
Right.
kind of get right to it. And then this is some of my favorite things Hal has ever done for me.
Yeah.
You see the girl continues to pray, and then the angel kind of falls down. You kind of see this incredible shot of this kind of angelic figure, and the girl who's been praying sees her, and she's all excited.
Yeah.
He has no idea what's been going on, and then you see the stranger opens the door, and then he's again that last panel is just like there's so much I can go into that. The reflection, the girl finally realizing there's a stranger in her house, the booty shot. I mean, just
Moody.
like how just like he murdered this. I remember when I got this back, I was like, I'm gonna have to keep hiring this guy.
Yeah.
He's too good. He's too good. So
So
yeah,
good. It's such a money page,
yeah,
introducing this new character and just the heavenliness of the character. So
yeah.
powerful.
And then right here, you have the just two panels on the last page, but that's really all you need. You see her whisking away the girl, and then you flash forward to years later,
Yeah.
and you see kind of what's introducing Angelique. You know, just that last panel, just her wings dipped in blood, standing on
Mhm.
this alien planet with all these dead bodies. It's just like sensational. Like what else do you need for like an intro, man?
Yeah, that's awesome. And you get like some of a sense of relation between these fallen enemies here and the stranger that was in the house. Kind of the claws on these creatures, and big teeth. So just in that transition, the questions that are raised kind of tells you the story of this character. It's really good.
Yeah, and that kind of sets the table for the Ace Volume 2, which
Yeah,
I'll go over in a future edition. Like I said, we do these every 2 weeks. Kind of gives me some time to line up some guests and kind of go over these different stories that we've covered. We've already covered the Ace Volume 1 main story, the first Ace epilogue, this story, and then we did the Viking short story I did for Alternate Comics, which you can find on their website. So, a little plug for that too, no matter what can happen, I can say that I had a comic book that was published by an independent comic book company and that had a cover by Kenneth Rocafort. So suck on that. If you can't
yeah.
say that, you can't tell me nothing. So
What are the chances? It's just perfect timing.
yeah, just one of those things in life that lined up.
Yeah.
So yeah, did you want to go and share something, Phil? Because I wanted to ask you a bunch of stuff about the short stories. Like I said, you're a big inspiration, and
Sure.
you did an amazing job. That Lost Pages supplemental, I thought was like such like a treat. Uh, Definitely anybody who hasn't picked it up. Are you offering this in the campaign?
Yeah. So you could grab the Myths of the Lost Pages either as an add-on on the campaign, or it's ready to ship if you want to read it right now. You could pick it up on our website, zadecomics.com, which that you could find the link to Lost Pages 3 on there as well. Or it's in the new collection, the Lost Pages tome. So it's in here all in black and white with the first and second book. So there's a lot of different ways you can grab the collection of these short stories. Um, and so, I started writing these as kind of an exercise to understand these characters more. Like, imagine these shorts as introductory vignettes or teaser trailers, if you will, for these new characters. And what we did, had this as the supplemental book, but also during the campaign, we added more stories for every stretch goal we hit, and hired more amazing artists for this. So I think it started off with just 4. And by the end, I think it was a total of 9 stories in here, all being 4 pages. And this is the first one. This was also published in was it Jumpstart magazine? Not
Mhm.
Jumpstart. Was that what that was? No, Rocket. Sorry, it
Okay.
was going to be in Jumpstart, and it ended up in Rocket. So, if you guys had that, so yeah, so this is the silhouette, and let me see if I get a better zoom in on here. So I had an idea for, if you guys don't know the silhouette, ghostly vigilante figure. He's kind of like our supernatural superhero in the Lost Pages. And this one, it had, at the time, there was a lot of kind of like, pushback against police. Obviously, that's been happening a lot in the past, 6 years.
Yeah.
So I wanted to write this one from a point of view that would have the reader think that it was like a police officer that was narrating this. And we had Maxie Dallow doing an awesome job on the art. This is one of the first silhouette stories that he worked on. It's a pretty simple story. And if you guys read the silhouette, he's very inner monologue heavy, kind of like a Sin City type character. A lot of people equate him to Rorschach with that type of inner monologue. And that's something I love about comics. Like that's something that is very specific to comic books, you know, you're able to know what the character is thinking while they're doing actions and stuff while you're seeing that.
Oh yeah.
So we have these two men running through the city, and the narration is, you know, I mean, I could read some of it. He says, "They don't trust me. They don't understand the things I do nowadays. The things they say make even me question it." So you have this man questioning his own actions, but you know he's doing these things that he thinks are good, but other people may think he's a monster because of it. And we see that this police officer is chasing down this criminal, money falling out of this bag. See, he's got a ski mask on. Awesome, you know, expression and characterization that Maxie's putting into these pages. Everyone's scared of monsters. One does wrong, and it blinds the masses. So you're kind of equating the silhouette to the justice he does to also the justice that police officers have to deal with, and the blowback on, you know, their actions for trying to do the right thing. No one sees the good ones, just the monsters. And, you know, kind of specifically picking these shots in my script on purpose, right? So in the script, I specifically remember having a mother lifting her child away from the running police officer because, you know, there's danger going on, and the expressions on their face being worried or scared of the cop running past with this, you know, criminal. And we see more of the chase and more narration, and specifically also, you know, little Easter egg here where you can actually see the silhouette in the brightness of the moon on top of the building, you know, as he's chasing them too.
Yeah.
So like when you're doing stories like this and you're writing stories like this, or even if you're the writer or artist, you really have to make each panel count. And I like to know what is going to be said, or the monologue, what's going to go along with the art, you know, so you could kind of make a bigger impact. Let's see. It can make one forget themselves, talking about, like, you know, the news, and all of the, you know, misinformation or people name calling you, trying to make you out as a bad guy, forgetting how I got here and why I have to do what I do. So this is an interesting panel because you have your criminal here, and then you get a little cameo Easter egg of the hobo. So here's the hobo pushing the shopping cart, and then specifically a big book falling out of the shopping cart. So I don't know if people caught on to that, but that's the hobo from the bigger Lost Pages story. And then this is right before a page turn as well, I believe. So you get to finally see the profile of the silhouette looking down on this chase. When I see myself now, I don't recognize me. Then we have, the police officer doesn't know where the criminal is. He kind of gets the upper hand and tackles the officer, knocking the gun out of his hand, taking his gun. Great expression on this officer's face. And then kind of similarly to what Alan was doing in your stories, he has like the big reveal as the last page or last panel on this page, since it's, you know, just one page instead of having it as a big page.
God damn it, Bancroft. This is outrageous here. On Sunday night, you know, he just drops in to drop bombs in the chat. And it's just, I mean, you know, you got to give it. He knows what ideas to steal to make his own. So
that's right.
You can you can sub to Bancroft's channel for all hardline ideas.
That's right. What's up, Michael? Yeah, we're just talking about short stories today. So I'm looking at some of Michael's favorite parts of
Yeah,
the Lost Pages, which he really liked this book with all the short stories in it.
yeah, they're a big inspiration for me. They've kind of given me like a different kind of outlook on writing. I
Yeah.
used to once I kind of got used to like writing the scripts. Now, whenever I do like an epilogue story or short stories, actually some of my favorite stuff to do. Like I find like everything just kind of narrows down, and I'm able to really kind of trim the fat out, and it makes it easier for me to focus and boil down the ideas that I want. There are always limitations. Sometimes you wish like, yeah, I wish I could just get a couple more pages, a couple more, but if when it forces you to be that tight, I think it really kind of brings out the best of you. So, got some more people in the chat here.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yo, whack ass, what's up,
Oh,
brother?
the man himself, Wackass, what's going on, brother?
See you. Yeah, so we're looking at the Lost Pages 4-page short story. I don't know, did this have a subtitle? Oh yeah, it's called Streets of Black. I try to do both titles.
Outrageous.
So so yeah, it says I feel lost to the world, this media surrounded by blackness, the dark of it all. No one to fall back on. And this is something I like doing too. No one to fall back on as he's falling, a little
Yeah,
reflection. It's just some writing stuff I like to do. But that's not me. Close up on him. This is me. So you get the kind of final reveal that if this is the first time you ever read a Silhouette story, which some people this could have been,
yeah,
now it's the reveal that the Silhouette has been narrating this the whole time. You get to see him, get the bleeding out of the darkness of the alleyway, and the reaction of the hoodlum here. And then now you can just do it all action, the
yeah.
consequences of his behavior. I protect the innocent, for I have no innocence, and kind of doing this cool highlighted with the blood.
Yeah, it's great.
But all of these first 3 pages, you could kind of have it, think of it almost like a comic strip where you have the
Yeah,
setup panels. So the first 3 pages are the setup, and then you have the last page is the payoff. Um, you know, and you could extend that or shorten that for however many pages you want, basically. And then this is also the first time we see the Silhouette use his kind of powers to look into the criminal's past. Where he sees he murdered this man for the money, and then you get the kind of money shots here, killing the guy, and then vanishing back into the alleyway, leaving the police officer wondering what happened. So I think in this story, you get, especially from the narration of the Silhouette at the beginning, you get the sense of who this character is. And since we're comparing him to a police officer,
yeah,
how he is a figure of justice, and that police officers and both the Silhouette and the police are kind of maligned and could be painted as poor figures in media, from here. So they have a relation to each other, and he's got the police officers back too. So
yeah, man. And like I said, this is regardless of whether me and Phil know each other or we hang out in the hard line. Like I said, one thing I've been critical of is there's not enough superhero comics that are being put out in CG that are trying to like bring back the old feeling, and that's what I think Lost Pages does. That's what I'm trying to do with the Ace and Bloodbone. Like these new heroes, they have a little bit of familiarity. You kind of they give you hints of characters that you've read in the past, but they have like their own spins on it. It's got
yeah,
amazing artwork, just like beautiful book. Any Lost Pages book that you pick up, you're just like, wow, this is top notch art, and then great writing, and then like really cool superhero stuff, man. And I think that's missing, and we need more of that. No offense to anybody doing, if they don't like superheroes, but if you're gonna play in the superhero world, this is what you should be doing, man. You should be creating cool characters that stand out, that tell different stories, and you should be looking to bring back that old feeling. That's what Lost Pages is doing, man. Like I cannot put it over enough. Like I said, if even if I never knew anything about CG, somebody handed me just like, here, you like comics, read this. I would totally be into it, just off like, because this is my wheelhouse, you know. I love
Yeah.
comics. I love like superheroics. I love like, anything from like niche books like Darkhawk to like big tempos like Green Lantern. And we should be looking to create our own versions of that in this world and grow them out. So, like I said,
Thanks, man.
yeah,
I mean, that's what we're trying to do because, I love that stuff. And that stuff inspired me to do this stuff. And the reason I'm doing it is so maybe someone else is inspired to do it down the line. Reading the stuff that I'm into. If you like similar things, you're probably going to see glimpses of that in here. And I think it's important to, make these characters. It's simple enough in appearance to be iconic, but complex in, plot and personality to feel real, even though it's, not real. It's crazy, crazy cool
yeah,
comic. Yeah,
yeah, man. So speaking of which, you want to just bring up little Lost Pages 3, kind of let everybody know what's the next step right here in this whole entire universe that's being put out by you and Brando.
for sure, man. Let me share this over here. That should be shared. Yeah, Lost Pages 3. We just got a few more backers thanks to Lepresti's stream, which is awesome. So we made it to 18K today, and we're so close. We're 9 backers away from 200, which is awesome. Like that's going to be a kind of a milestone for us on this campaign because that's going to unlock a reveal. It's going to reveal to all the backers the back cover of the Bisley book. So if you guys haven't seen the project yet, you got the Lost Pages 3. We got 2 covers on it. The Dan Dahl, Shelby Robertson cover, which is freaking amazing. I mean,
Oh
this
yeah,
encompasses what the story is. It's got all the main characters that are going to be in this book. And if you guys aren't aware, this is like what we're talking about. It's a superhero universe that we're building, focusing on, unique heroes that are from different genres. So if you like any form of comics, you're going to find a character in here. Bancroft says, show me the back of the Biz. Dude, his back is so wide. He doesn't skip back there. Okay. He's got the jacked back. But basic pitch for this, now we're focusing on Crimstone. We just took a look at the silhouette, which you can see here. But we're focusing on the big badass powerhouse of the Lost Pages, Crimstone, which is a duo. Jasmine Stone, she goes by Jazz for short, and her imaginary friend Crim. I'm a big fan of the Mask, Lobo, even the Max. So
yeah, Max is
you could see kind of the influences on that. But he's imaginary. He's this off the wall, bombastic powerhouse, and she sees him, and when he's around, she gets super strength and vulnerability. So in this story, they get kind of separated. He falls back into her mind and is trapped there and has to fight his way out. And that's where this big bad guy comes into play. So a lot of action, just a lot of fun. And then, of course, we got the Simon Bisley cover, which is, whew, look at that. That's so stoked to be working with him again. So you guys have 2 choices here, and beautiful interior work by Ricardo Jamie. It's just going to be nonstop fun, and we're actually picking up pace on these pages. I just got 6 more layouts for pages, and he's going to be going full speed ahead, already into like going to be past page 22 very soon in this story, which is actually like 32, I think.
like I says, if Lopesti just talked to Bisley about weightlifting, he'd get his cover a lot faster.
That's true. That's true. And Oh yeah, Capcom Lost Pages fighting game
Yes,
one,
yes,
dude.
yes, yes,
That'll
yes.
be great, man. That's been talk for a while. We've been wanting to do something like that with all CG characters, all of our buddy characters. So fun.
That's, that's the thing, man. With this new era, everything's game. It's just about getting enough backing to make it happen. There's a lot of talented people in all sorts of arenas and areas that want to do cool stuff, man. They just,
Yeah.
just need the funding to get there. So we're trying to do here.
And if you guys like that short story we went over with the silhouette, here he is now. This is him in the prologue of the story, and he's going to have some action, some awesome fight. That's going to kind of be like a B plot line with Matt Black that we'll see in future stories as well. And speaking of the stuff we could do now, doing a figure, I mean, you guys have seen it. It's so kick ass. Eddie Winkler's painting one up for us right now, so we're going to have some cool shots of that. And the people, I mean, this probably one of our biggest campaigns. There's so many options and printing so many books on this one. People ashcan. We offered the first one on the previous campaign, and this is a continuation. It's going to be a 3 or 4 parter, but this really fleshes out the character of the people, and we get a little glimpse of his backstory, who he was before he became a vigilante, and a really cool, um, dichotomy between the people and the silhouette. The people being the human character with no powers, and the silhouette being the supernatural character.
Yeah, Bancroft's got a question there.
What's Brandon's involvement in the Lost Pages at this point?
Then
Well,
Wackass answered it.
the emotional core.
That's right. He's the heart of it all. At the heart of Lost Pages is Brando's heart. So,
Yeah. So Brandon, I mean, we came up with these characters years ago. So like Matt Black, that's his design. And originally Matt Black was going to be like a doofy teenage kid, and he just made her into this young, probably 20 something babe with these cool powers. She didn't have, the character wasn't going to have cool powers. So now, Brandon also, he has among the character designs he does, he runs all like the financial stuff, like spreadsheets and stuff, which I need. We need that
yeah.
to get done. So I'm not just paying people money and not making money. He'll yell at me about that, which is always helpful.
Brandon cracks the whip on Phil when he gets too excited. He's like, "Hey, slow it down, buddy. We need to make more money before we can do that."
But I could get 4 covers from Simon Bisley.
Yes.
Hold on a second.
That's the thing. Like, people don't really know. Like, I guess sometimes, Brandon is the more reserved brother in a lot of ways, but Brandon does a lot of stuff behind the scenes that nobody ever sees, and he never even gets credit for. Like, he's helped me out in my campaigns. God does invaluable work for anybody who kind of knows. He just likes to kind of do his own thing. He's not going to be on the streams all the time. That's what Phil does. But yeah, Brandon has heavy involvement in everything that's coming out from Zaid Comics.
This also was his idea and concept too. The T-shirt, being able to screen print ourselves, and the 2-color thing.
No wonder we're getting killed. Jesus, same cast killing us. Hey, what can we do? We're only humans. Yeah. You can catch the replay. Hear about comics after you're done simping.
Yeah, but and then here's the $200 backer thing. A little glimpse. Shelby's back cover, which is going to be insane here. Check that out. It is. It's one of my maybe one of my favorite pieces that we've ever published.
Oh, yeah.
This Shelby piece is so cool. And then the stretch goal, which is kind of the next big thing too. And when I tell you guys, like if you followed our campaigns before, the trading cards we have on this one, the lineup is crazy. Like, you guys are gonna love some of the cards coming out of here. So if you guys are backers are ready, definitely share it out. Let people know, people that like trading cards, that like the Lost Pages, get on this so we can get to those stretch goals and unlock some stuff. There's a bookmark coming from someone you might not think that would be doing a bookmark for us. It's going to be pretty great. So definitely back if you guys haven't. We're 9 backers away from 200 backers. If you guys can't spring for the monster pack, which comes with everything, and say you want the statue still, you could always add the statue onto any perk or the shirt or anything, really. It's, all our campaigns are mix and match. So yeah, I'm super excited about this one.
Yeah,
Yes.
give it a little refresh there.
Yeah. A little Reaper. You got 191, 18, 832. 192. There we go. Get that. And we're past 400. $18,401 till $18,450. Now just 8 more backers to go. Thank you guys so much. Freaking awesome. Yeah. Oh, this is great. So when does Shant's Masquerade bookmark drop? So that's a good idea. Well, Shant did this amazing painting of the Masquerade, and he gave it to me. It's freaking awesome. But here's the thing. I want to do so much more Masquerade stuff, but I have a plan, like a map out for the story arc. So it's Crimstone now. The next book is supposed to be Wild Card. And then the book after that's supposed to be Masquerade. So I have to wait 2 books. And it kills me because I love that character. I have the plot already for the Masquerade story and how it fits in with everything. But it works if it's the 5th book. But that's insane. It's already 5 books. That's so cool. So I'm sure we're going to have a lot of Shant on that book. But his work is so good. We will see the Masquerade in this story, though, just like we saw him in the previous book. But trust me, he's a big part of everything. Supposed to be Wild Card, but we know the main character is actually Scar, the wolf. Yeah, well, he'll definitely be in that one a lot. So we're gonna learn a lot about Scar and Wild Card in that. I can't wait. I mean, just everyone is always like, "Who's your favorite character?" And then some days I'm like, "It's Masquerade." Other days it's Crimstone. But I'm like, I was telling my girlfriend a couple weeks ago, I'm like, I think the most popular character story-wise, I think the character with the best story, in my opinion, overall, is probably Wild Card. It's the most, I think, meaningful story.
Yeah, that story Joe did, fantastic. Like completely just out of this world good. Like I said, like the cool thing about this is like, it's got something for everybody, like, like I lean more to like the superheroics. So a Crimstone, even like a Vane, they kind of speak to me more. Yeah. But I can appreciate how just freaking awesome the silhouette is. Like his powers, everything about that. You're kind of like, fuck, that's like a great fucking character. Then other people love the Masquerade, which I think, if you feel like kind of a fan of like more throwback heroes, Masquerade is perfect for you. So, it's got all these different little things for everybody. And like I said, you want to create something that has a little familiarity to the past, but also puts a new spin on it. And this is what this book is. And this, that's what a lot of us want to do. I want to do that with the Ace. I want to remind people of characters like Darkhawk, Nova, Green Lantern when Jeff Johns was writing it, Bloodbone, a lot of like the 90s Shadowhawk, like these violent kind of vigilante type characters, they kind of like a lot of stuff that's really missing right now. So, the more people kind of go out and support books like this, like the more creators like me want to get inspired and want to keep like doing this, man.
Yeah, you brought up the Joe Ball story with Wildcard. I had some people say, like when they were reviewing it, that they didn't like that one as much because of the poem that was with it and stuff. It was kind of disuniformed with the rest of the book. And that was a poem I had written for, I think, a college class, and I put it to that story for Wildcard. I had read it probably, I'd reread it maybe like 2 months ago. I was reading through it, and I'm like, man, this is pretty cool. Like for me, it worked, and I'm like, this is pretty rad. I actually
Yeah.
really dig that. But
Yes.
I don't know, it might just be something that's for me, and it's cool that other people don't understand it or get it.
Yeah,
But
and like I said, with everything as the characters grow, you'll kind of listen to kind of more, and stuff will move kind of where you find a nice medium between what you want and what the fans want. That's also
yeah,
like the process. Like, I mean, this is just begun. Like for you, I know, like I've seen tons of behind the scenes stuff, and like I know you got like tons of plans for all these characters, which are awesome. And then like we were talking earlier about like not revealing stuff. I'm like, I feel the same way, brother. I got like a Dropbox full of stuff nobody has
yeah,
seen for like Bloodbone, the Viking story, the
yeah,
Ace. Like nobody has even seen it. And I'm just like holding on to it, just biting my nails. So like I can't wait to drop this. So
yeah,
it's part of the game too.
yeah, for sure. And Nail Bunny says Wildcard would be my favorite, but he's a ginger. He's not. He's not a ginger. He has one strip of his hair is red, and we'll see why he has that hair as well, because it's from his powers, and we'll see him get his powers in the next book. Um, yeah, that's gonna be freaking tight. I wasn't the biggest fan of that story, but it might be I just need to know the character better, and then I can go back to reread. Yeah, so knowing what I know, of course, it means more to me, of course, because that story will tie into something in the future. Um, of that event was actually a big event, a bigger event than we know. Yeah, but also I like poetry and shit, you know. So, but yeah, short stories I think are really powerful and could help writers with pacing. I think it really helps with character development as well, because you have to make sure, and I think this goes with any comic, like even long comics. Like I think this teaches you to make sure your panels are important and you don't have any throwaway panels or throwaway pages. It helps you conserve on your page count and make sure that everything on the page is there for a reason. So I think people should write more short stories. And I would like to do another one of these books in the future.
Yeah,
I
man,
just
definitely.
the time to sit down, because I know even you were telling me after you got this book, this specific story, this wild card one, you're like, man, this should have another part to it where
Yeah,
it's like the fight, the big fight.
yeah. I love this. Like this is completely caught me off guard where this
Yeah.
went compared to like the first one, but I was like, yeah, this is
Mhm.
something that I could get heavy into. And
Yeah.
that's a cool thing, like you get to expand your horizons. You get to do different things and kind of see what hits and what doesn't, which is another kind of positive for it. And this is what, hopefully we can share with people. Like I said, we're going to continue kind of going over some of my stories. Eventually, I'll be talking to people and sharing kind of their stories and kind of saying stuff that I like. It kind of inspired me, you know. And then so I think I might be doing the David Diaz origin stories next. That's something I did for Sim, put up this digital anthology called The Red Label. A bunch of artists gave and creators gave up stories for him to put in this digital kind of setting. And I
Mhm.
made created an original short story about the Ace, David Diaz, kind of giving some of his background stuff that wasn't in the first book, and kind of gives you a little kind of more of his story. So I'll probably cover that in 2 weeks. I got to figure out who. Maybe I can get Twist Brandon's arm to come on and hop on with me and talk a little bit about that. But yeah, thanks guys for joining us. As you can have the link to Lost Pages is in the description. Also in the description is the link for this bad boy here.
Yes.
You know, let's see if I can figure out how to
Bloodbone.
do this. Yeah, look at that beauty right there. Over here, there we go. See that shiny foil right there? Yeah,
Yes.
right there. These less than 15 copies left on my Etsy store. If you want, you can go pick up a copy. The ashcan won't be reprinted again in this form. So this is like an exclusive. Once they're gone, they'll be gone forever. So it's rad ass. It's got amazing cover by Ricardo. It's got great artwork by Donald DeLay. And it
Yes.
gives you a little 12-page introduction to Bloodbone, setting up Bloodbone number 1, which will be coming out in the next year. And I got some cool reveals for who the artist is going to be and all that other kind of fun stuff. So, stay tuned to my Twitter at Edwin Aces, and, you'll find out first what the deal is. So, yeah, any closing comments, where they can find you, all that fun stuff, Phil?
Yeah, I would say, short stories is definitely an avenue that everybody should be working in. So it's, like we stated, it's going to help you with your pacing and character development just for yourself. Like I said, these stories I wrote so I can understand these characters more. And you guys could find me on Zaid Comics, the YouTube channel. Definitely be subbed to there if you guys are not. Go to zaidcomics.com to get all of your content if you want to read it right now. And then be sure to back the Lost Pages 3. You can find that link in the description or on our website. It's going to be 74 pages or more of awesome action, great story. We got the ashcan on there and all the stuff that you need to catch up to learn who these kick-ass characters are. Yeah, thanks for having me, Edwin.
Thanks for coming on. And look who's in the house. The one and only Joe Ball,
The man himself.
the madman himself. Guys, Joe has got so much cool stuff. If you haven't seen his latest reveals for Def,
Woo.
I'll go follow him on Twitter right there. Look up his past couple messages. The
Yeah,
pages are insane and they get better. Imagine that. Me and Phil have seen the good stuff that Joe doesn't show anybody. So we're privileged. And Def is coming, man. Joe's slaving away at that drawing table, you know,
right.
putting up a craziness, but it's coming to you, man. It's going to be sick. Back it now because you'll want the first ever copy of this. You'll want to tell your friends. You want to tell everybody, man. This book is going to be insane. And, we got some nice Joe Ball hardline collaborations coming out soon. Phil's got some stuff with Joe Ball coming. I got some stuff coming with Joe Ball. So it's going to be a sick kind of 2023, man. Stay tuned. Join us in 2 weeks for the next episode of The Writer's Cut. And we'll see you next time, guys.
See ya.
Peace.